Hello and welcome to Creative Borders Business Works Festival. We're delighted to see so many of you here at the fabulous independent venue of Macards, and hello also to around 40 of you who are joining us online, including a group from Heriot-Watt University. This is a day for and by creative businesses. We're Creative Coathanger, a group of volunteers in the Scottish Borders creative sector. I'm Inge Panneels, co-chair.
I'm Jules Horne, secretary, and a shout out also to Mark Timmins, co-chair, who's joining us online. Other committee members here in the room are Susan Garnsworthy, who will kindly be leading Mark's session, Clark Durnion, and Bridget Khurshid and Caroline Parkinson, who will be joining us soon. Helen Vos is project manager, and Chris Weems and his Macards team are running the day. So how has this event come about? Well, thanks to Scottish Government funding through the Scottish Borders Council Community-Led Learning and Development Fund, which has allowed us to pay creative business contributors and events trainee Joe. We're very grateful and also appreciate having some SBC staff here with us today, along with representatives from South of Scotland Enterprise and other exciting initiatives in the region.
So what's this all about? To say the creative sector has had a tough time is putting it mildly. During the pandemic, local agency support stopped at a time of extreme need. Some of us volunteered to run Borders Cultural Forum online events to begin discussing sector-led alternatives.
I was also on the Writers Guild Union Committee, seeing reports on issues facing the workforce in different creative industries. It was dire and pointed to bigger systemic problems. And then Brexit happened, and then the announcement of 10% cuts to creative organisations happened. To cut a long story short, we're interested in sustainable livelihoods for the creative sector. We're told the sector is one of the most successful, with such potential to help growth and regeneration. What does that look like? What can we do in the Scottish Borders?
On to the summary of the issues. The hardship of the last while has made some systemic issues in the sector much clearer, and if you're squeamish about business terminology, look away now. Number 1, gig work. Many creative workers are part of the gig economy with all the precarity, scrabbling and low pay that entails. Think, people writing competitive applications for 5-day work contracts, or young directors motoring around Scotland doing day-long school gigs, being asked to contribute unpaid to national conferences because it will help raise your profile. That is one of the reasons behind the free is not an option Writers Guild campaign. However, there's a flip side to this. Flexibility, creativity, focus, energy, problem solving, your dedicated team. Number 2, mixed business models. Many creative workers have portfolios of work, a mix of employment, say sessional teaching and self-employment as your products. This mixed status came back to bite people during the pandemic because we often fell between stools and weren't eligible for support. Number 3, invisibility. Much of the sector's contribution to the economy is under the radar because research isn't equipped to gather it. There's no category for portfolio career. With my research at Napier University, for example, creative informatics showed the huge gap between economic data reporting and the creative businesses on the ground. Most creative businesses are below the VAT threshold, and therefore their contribution isn't even counted. However, happily this is changing. Several universities are working on more useful data gathering. South of Scotland Enterprise last year issued a creative industries report on the South that showed over 1,500 businesses and counting, with a combined annual turnover of £160 million for the region.
It's good that this work is happening now, because for long enough we've heard the Scottish and UK governments report on the extraordinary success of the creative sector. It contributes over £5 billion to the Scottish economy each year. In the UK picture, that's £109 billion, 5.6% of the UK economy. It's identified as a growth sector that can help the country to thrive. So where's the link between all this economic contribution and future potential and sustainable livelihoods on the ground? And how can that work in the Scottish Borders, with its population of 115,000 people scattered over a large area of small communities, against a background of fewer resources, changing demographic and climate change? And with exciting opportunities up ahead, including the new enterprise agency, Codebase and TechScaler.
That's the big discussion that we'd love to open up with you about working spaces, digital, training and fabrication. For today, we've chosen 3 key themes: making sustainable businesses, capacity building, and the borders and beyond.